Carolina Basketball Podcast, also known as M.O.B Podcast, NBA Playoff Edition. I'm Evan.
I'm Ja.
This is our basketball podcast, where we recap, break down, and analyze players and teams in the playoffs from previous games from the previous day. Ja, you this Saturday?
I'm cool. I'm cooling.
You always say that.
Well, I used to always say I'm tired, but I am still tired, but it got kind of cliche always saying that all the time. So I just said, what?
You just switched up. But I'm doing good as well. I hope everyone's having a good day. I hope everyone will have a good day. Much to discuss around the game threes during the playoffs. Two teams bearing a loss, possibly facing elimination. But before we get into that, let's go into the game in which the series was tied. The New York Knicks going to Atlanta to battle the Atlanta Hawks. And from the beginning, Tom Thibodeau made change of starting Derrick Rose. Elfrid Payton did not play, did not see him, which I thought that was a great decision because D Rose immediately made an impact. Not to come at Elfrid Payton, I'm talking about because D Rose.
Yeah.
D Rose has been the one consistent player for the Knicks in these all three games. I mean, he played great in game three.
Yeah.
And it was a battle in that first quarter between the Knicks and the Hawks. Hawks got a lot of 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
Off the assist of Trae Young a lot. The Knicks gave Trae Young a lot of attention, so that means other guys could be open. Julius Randle, again, 3 straight games, struggled. I don't know what's up with him. You got to give credit to Nate McMillan. That strategy that they have is really locking him up. The attention that they're giving him, the double teams, the matchups on him, he can't really do anything.
Yeah, man, it's like he can't go on the road for some reason, which is not his kind of thing, but he's still developing. He's still developing in terms of that more of that scoring mentality. He's a good scorer, of course, but he's not yet at that level in which you could feel like you could constantly get a bucket from him time and time again down the floor. You know what I mean when I say that. So it's just it's been a struggle for him, but yet he's fighting through it. One thing that you got to respect is the fact that he's fighting through it. He's trying his best because he knows he's the best player of this team, and then he knows how his team needs him.
Yeah. So you got to give him credit for that. But he struggled. RJ Barrett also struggled this game. Got off to a slow start. Really couldn't hit his shots. I mean, the Knicks had a lot of good looks.
Yeah.
But couldn't really connect. Something that you can't really say about the Hawks in that second quarter. Similarly to the game in game 2, the Hawks went on a big run in that second quarter. I mean, that was off their 3-point shooting. That was off of Trae Young. That was off of Clint Capella. Their defense, something that we really haven't talked about, but their defense was spectacular last night. Spectacular. It was some of the best defense they played the entire season. The Knicks couldn't do anything offensively.
Yeah, man. For an offensive team, their defense really was superb, and I think, and it wasn't an individual thing. Most of these defensive moments are a collective, communication, making the right time and the right reads for each other. And I think that's what they did. That's what the Hawks did. And I think that's the reason why they was able to live with the Knicks so much, because of the fact that their communication and timing was just so well. And defense takes effort. It really just takes effort. And I think the Hawks had that on both ends last night. Just on both the offensive end and defensive end, just effort.
Yep. And yeah, that second quarter was a big run. And they really rode that wave from that second quarter for the entire game, as the Knicks really couldn't come back into this game. They struggled when they looked like they had runs. When the Hawks were struggling offensively, they couldn't hit their shots either. Yeah, and when you down double digits, I mean, it's not, and you're the road team, you're not getting any boost.
Yeah. Exactly.
Meanwhile, the Hawks are getting all the boost. I mean, even if they're not scoring.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was, the Knicks really couldn't couldn't get back into this game. Really struggling for a lot of the players. I mean, D Rose played great. Nerlens Noel, I mean, he went to the free throw line like 12 times, I think, or whatever. But he played good. Like we already mentioned, Randall struggling once again. Only 2 field goals on the night, but the Hawks gotta give credit to this Hawks team. Like I said, Trae Young, last night it was not more of his scoring, but more of his passing.
Yeah,
His playmaker ability. But I mean, he's a great playmaker, and he really showed from last night. I mean, he was getting everyone involved. Everybody was getting involved, and the Hawks was hitting their shots. I mean, DeAndre Hunter, Kevin Herter, Clint Capella, Gallinari, who has really been struggling in this series, finally had a good game. You got to give credit to this Hawks team. John Collins, who also been struggling, who had a terrible game in game 2. Bogdanovich, like everybody played great. This was all around well-rounded win by this Hawks team.
But like when it comes to Gallinari, you make your head into a mohawk. I don't think people do that mohawk anymore. And like of course you start struggling. Like, oh, what was that idea? Like, but hey, like yes. Trae Young, great playmaker, and like again, he's their leader. And what he told you, he said, "See you guys in the A," and he saw you in the A, and you see what he did. You know what I mean? He helped everybody out. He helped basically. He did what leaders should do. You got to give him a lot of credit for that.
Yep, he had the Atlanta crowd bumping.
Yep.
I mean, they was enjoying every second of it. I believe they even chanted, said overrated Julius Randle. I mean, as an NBA fan, I love all of that.
Revenge.
Yeah. Maybe even spit on him in game 4.
Don't do that.
I hope more class than us.
Just know Julius Randle is a big tough dude. That would be scary to do mess with him. Spin on him.
Yeah, I don't think they want to. But I mean,
that sentence.
Right now you can't buy a bucket. So, and once again, like I mentioned time and time again, when your star player is struggling and really can't get it together, it's rare that you can win, especially against a great team.
Exactly.
And that's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
That being said, off of this big win, double-digit win by the Atlanta Hawks, they now take the series lead 2-1. Now let's talk about the other teams that were facing elimination. First, let's go to Dallas. The Los Angeles Clippers going up against Dallas Mavericks, American Airlines Arena. And oh my goodness, from the beginning, it looked like that was game.
Yeah.
Luka Doncic, the Undertaker, at least against the Clippers.
Yeah.
Like he was put on a scoring onslaught.
Yeah.
It was back-to-back, bucket after bucket. And then Tim Hardaway joined the show. Then Maxi Cleaver joined the show.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, the Clippers are down like 19 in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
The crowd is jumping. I mean, they enjoyed every bit of it. The Clippers don't know what to do.
And that's where I nearly gave up on them. That's where I nearly gave up on them. I was like, yeah, see you next year.
It was a shame to see.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. And then Luka goes to the bench, and almost instantly, the Clippers just hit on a run.
Yeah.
Paul George led that. Finally. Well, not finally, because he actually been playing good offensively. But like I said, Paul George, he led that.
Took charge. He took charge.
Yes, he really took charge, and the rest of the Clippers fed off of that. Mm-hmm. Luka came back to the game, and still, once the Clippers got going, they really got going. Then it became a competitive game. And I mean, it was really competitive up until. It was really competitive second quarter and third quarter.
Yeah. It was
But
just till that late fourth quarter.
yes, that late fourth quarter, and I mean, all throughout the game, as you would expect, the Clippers could not stop Luka. He was spectacular. He was spectacular. Put it on a show, trying to end this series.
It's
He was dominant.
it's crazy how Paul George and Kawhi Leonard cannot stop a little ass boy from scoring on them and dominating the game. That's crazy. They can't stop a little ass boy.
But hey, okay, so you couldn't stop him. But Tim Hardaway didn't have a good game.
Since that first quarter, nah.
Yeah, he wasn't as impactful as he was in the previous two games, and that was big. Because okay, now you're like, fine, you can shut down Tim. He's their second best scorer in this series right now. Porzingis didn't have a good game either.
Yeah,
he was kind of where he go, you know. But let Lucas do his thing. And everybody else, okay, Jalen Brunson, you gotta get your buckets because Jalen Brunson played good. Max Cleaver, you gotta get your buckets because he played good. But besides that, I think that's our best chance to win.
yeah.
And that's what happened. And then late in that fourth quarter, as you mentioned, Clippers, Kawhi joined the party. He stepped up, had a big game, 36 on the night. Already mentioned Paul George. Reggie Jackson was big. Marcus Morris was big time. And it was that late fourth quarter push by the Clippers that really got them up and really closed this game out.
Yes.
To beat this Mavericks team.
Yes. And they did this. Look, they came into this game with no Serge Ibaka either.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't like you didn't hear much about him during the series, like still that's important. That's one of their key pieces. And I like to describe the game like this. This is a game where they looked like they was gonna be facing elimination the way the first quarter started. Then Paul George started it off, and then the rest of the team, but mainly Kawhi Leonard, finished it.
Yeah.
That's how I like to describe this game. Like, and that's the one main thing that I would like to talk about. Because, like, leading into this thing, what was all the talk about when it came to the Clippers in terms of negative? Will Paul George still look like what he did before? Like, will he still be that pandemic P, or will playoff P finally show up? And man, even though they have lost, playoff P has showed up, which is a great sight to see.
Not from three, but yeah.
Yeah,
it really annoys me. But in terms of overall, yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, it's beautiful. And this is the thing I'm talking about. Okay, probably he can't outmatch the output of how he did when he was younger in the playoffs. But hey, he's still showing why he's one of the best talents in the NBA, why he's one of the most skilled talents in the NBA, and he continues to show it on a constant basis. The way he would just put on that display of bucket getting within that first half was amazing. And again, he was the energizer to this whole Clippers team after being down by a lot. And the only thing that you can say about this Clippers team is the fact that they actually look like the pandemic Clippers. It's not the pandemic P, it's the pandemic Clippers until this game, because they were just all out of sorts. Again, they made one person demoralize them, and that young person is a young ass boy.
And also Tim.
And also Tim Hardaway, because he got that chopper. But this is the kind of Clippers team I like to see. The Clippers team that you saw in the fourth quarter, connecting all together, all in one piece on both ends of the floor. This is what you love to see, because this is what we know who they're truly about.
Yeah. And did a lot of that. That's because of their three-point shooting.
Yeah.
Especially in that fourth quarter. Three-point shooting was big time to help close out this game.
About time.
Yes, it is about time. As the Clippers, despite Luka's amazing performance and 44 points on the night, man, he is spectacular, only at 22 years old. But despite his performance, the Clippers do save their season and finally get a game.
Yeah.
But the Mavericks are still up 2-1. heading into game 4.
Yeah, they take.
Hey, but they have a chance now. They have a chance. 3-0 is there's no chance. There's no chance. But
Yeah,
now they have a chance. That was a big win.
Yeah, that is true.
So,
That is true.
So now let's see what they can do for the rest of the series. But all right, they were the only team facing elimination. The Boston Celtics in the TD Garden once again in the playoffs, going up against this Brooklyn Nets team. And yeah, Tatum woke up.
Tatum. Yes, man. Tatum showed up big time. Team facing elimination, but again, they're back on their home floor. You got to give them some kind of faith, right? Let's see. Sometimes certain players play better or need to get out their slump by being around their fans who what they're used to, their environment, their habitat. And that's what he basically happened for him. He didn't okay. First game, he had a good first half, but then
struggled in that second half. Yes.
And he struggled in that second half. Then the second game, mightily struggled from the rest of the game. And he knew again, the best player, the best scorer on the team. They don't go nowhere. They don't go far without you. He went into his Kobe mentality. He went to that Mamba mentality for this game. Big time.
Yeah. Didn't look like that in the first quarter, though.
Yeah.
Almost similarly to the Clippers. Yeah, the Nets just got out quick and early. I mean, what can you expect when you have KD, Kyrie, who was getting booed the entire night, and James Harden? This was his first game back in Boston.
Yeah, with the fans. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, they were up like I think 19-6 in that first quarter, and then the Celtics just started running.
Yeah,
and the crowd started jumping, and they was getting into it, and the Celtics had to leave by the end of the first quarter.
Yep.
And from that, I mean, they really that set the pace for them for the rest of the night because they was playing hard, they was playing great basketball, a lot of hustling, a lot of great intensity, a lot of great energy. Tristan Thompson was because of a lot of that as well. He was a great rebounder. Their 3-point shooting was also because of the reason of that. I mean, it was great from deep, and as we mentioned, Jason Tatum. There was not a man on that team that could guard him. Not a man on that team.
Not KD.
And oh my God! And in that third quarter, Boston just ran.
Yeah.
They ran in that third quarter. Jason Tatum was doing it all. They could not stop him.
Yeah.
You want to talk about how young Luka is? Tatum just as young.
Tatum is like a year older than him.
Yeah, 23.
23. So you want to talk about it, man? Talk about elite scoring, playmaking, making plays for others when he can't get his own shot. Just doing everything that he possibly needs to try to will his team to this win. That's what he did. And let's be honest, you talk about this next team though, they ain't KD and Harden. Yeah. They're like KD and Harden, they still put on the show too, big time.
They did.
Big time.
But I mean, the Celtics, the only way they could, you're not gonna stop those guys. You're not gonna stop those guys.
Yeah.
So I mean, the only way they can do was that performance by Tatum, was their 3-point shooting. I mean, they just had to outscore. I mean, obviously outscore them. That's how you win the game. But they have to be better.
Yeah.
Somehow offensively
than those guys.
You just not. Boston don't have the players, doesn't have the defensive team, to stop them.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the system to stop them. So Tatum had to have a performance like that because James Harden had 41 and KD had 39.
Yep. Yeah. They did. Man, it was a scoring barrage from all around. So, And this is a game where Kyrie and Kemba was struggling, especially Kemba. So
yeah. I think Kemba really struggles sometimes, man. It just annoys me sometimes.
yeah, but it's tough though because like you understand, like he can score the ball so well, but it's just like sometimes his size advantage kind of keeps him back. Not making that an excuse because obviously he's one of the best bucket getters in the game too. So, but I'm just saying sometimes I hold him back, especially with the injuries he's been through.
Yeah, that's true. But where he struggled, guys like Evan Fournier stepped up, who had a great game. Finally, Marcus Smart stepped up, who had a great game. I already mentioned Tristan Thompson, who was big time, getting the crowd into it, hustling, getting those big boards. And as we mentioned, of course, Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
50 on the night. Nobody on that team could guard him. He was unstoppable. Getting into the lane, finishing, getting to his spots, getting jump shots, getting the 3-pointers, all of it.
Yeah.
He was a monster. He already tied Larry Bird for most 50-point games, I believe. I think so, in Celtics history, I believe.
Well,
before.
This is Celtics basketball, man. I told you they don't show no lack of effort when it comes to playoff history. Like, regardless, okay, look, I understand probably game 2 wasn't really a great thing for them, but like you're not gonna have this from any team in Celtics history that has made the playoffs. You're not gonna have like a lack of effort. You know what I mean? They're gonna find some way to get it done, regardless if they're out in the first round or they make it deep. And that's what happened in this game for sure.
Yeah. That's good. Well, I mean, Joe Harris struggled in this game. He didn't have as much of the impact that he did in game 2.
Yeah. Dang it. So we can't say Joe Harris?
Yeah, no. Yeah, none of that. Not today. Well, we can't say Jason Tatum. That's what we can't say. As a result, the Celtics also save their season and get a win, but the Nets still up 2 games to 1 heading into game 4.
Yeah.
But speaking of saving their season, predictions for tonight's set of games. Saturday, big lineup, 4 games. First, starting off, game 4, TNT 130, and this could be the end of the series potentially. Facing elimination, the Bucks stay in Miami, looking to finish this off, eliminate the Miami Heat. What do you have?
Damn, Miami. Unfortunately for them, I got the Bucks.
Yep. I have to agree.
Hey, look, man, when you take away all that energy and all that enthusiasm and stuff like that, and your team doesn't have a role or effort, it's kind of tough to bounce back from this. And again, just like what you said, no team has ever came down from being 3-0. Probably 3-1, but not 3-0. So
it's never happened. 2-0? Yeah. 2-0 in the game in a 5-game series, Seattle. Yeah. But 3-0, it's never happened.
Yeah.
So yeah. Milwaukee. Also, some unfortunate news for Milwaukee. Dante DiVincenzo, did you hear?
Boy, what happened to him?
He's out for the rest of the season.
What happened? He ACL or something?
Yes, Dante DiVincenzo out for the rest of the playoffs, unfortunately. That sucks. I mean, out with a tendon injury in his left foot, according to the injury report. And yeah, he was a big piece for the Milwaukee team. A great role player, a great shooter.
Yes. Yes.
Someone who's a little spark plug too, can be a spark plug.
Yeah, man. To me, he's like I don't know if you get this vibe from him, but like he's like in terms of shooting ability and his impact on the team in a way, he kind of reminds me like of a lesser mediocre version of Tyler Hero.
Well, This season, he remind me of a better version of Tyler Hero.
Yes, this season. Like, it's no disrespect to him, but I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't put him over Tyler Hero. But I'm just saying his game reminds me of his his impact too.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Also, Dante's a good defender too.
Yeah, way
So
better than Hero there.
yeah, that's unfortunate. You know, good player. You never want to see a player get hurt, especially never want to see him get hurt in the playoffs. You know, the biggest moments of anybody's career for a chance to battle and get a championship, and that sucks.
Yeah.
But hopefully he gets better. Hopefully it's not
Anything?
career threatening or anything like that. And hope to see him next year. He gets better soon. But all right, going into the next game, TNT 4:00. The Denver Nuggets offer that big win in Portland. Stay in Portland to battle Trailblazers in this game 4. What you got?
Portland.
Portland. I got Portland as well. See if they can tie up this series. Next, let's go to the game 3s of Saturday nights, 7:00 ESPN. These Philadelphia 76ers head to the nation's capital to battle the Washington Wizards. Russ is questionable as of this recording.
I'm gonna go on here and say I'm gonna pick the Wizards. I'm gonna pick the Wizards to taking this one. They're back on their home floor. Again, it's always good in the playoffs to have a home court kind of situation for yourself. And again, I just feel like I did have them, I believe, in 5 games. So they should win at least one for me, please. I bet.
Yeah, true. I don't see that happening this game though. I got the Sixers. Also, Russ questionable because of the injury that he left in game 3. I mean game 2.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that. And the last game of the night, 9:30 ESPN. The Utah Jazz head to FedEx Forum, the Grindhouse, into Memphis to battle the Grizzlies. Game 3. Who do you got?
I got Utah.
Yes, I agree. I got Utah as well. I do expect that crowd to be bumping. It's always fun to see the Grizzlies in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know?
I do expect them, and I expect Donovan Mitchell and John Moran to put on a show for sure. That dude will be amazing.
Let's see, Dylan Brooks. They want to have a chance. Dylan Brooks can get in foul trouble. Jonas Valanciunas needs to stop getting in foul trouble, and we'll see what happens from there.
Yeah.
But all right, I think it's time to wrap things up, y'all. Any final thoughts?
Well, great job by 2 teams saving themselves from being in an elimination situation so early. You know what I mean? Because obviously I did lose faith in the Clippers a little bit.
I stuck in, maybe foolishly, but I stuck in.
And hey man, look it. Even though it looked like in the first quarter it was gonna look bad, hey, you stuck with them and look what happened. They came back big time. They finally look like the Clippers that we know they should be. So that's great for them. And hey, for that team right behind you, just know you in the A now. Trae Young told you in the A. See you in the A and you in the A. So just be careful now. The Hawks are flying all around.
Yep, the Hawks are flying all around, but only 2 games to 1 right now.
Yeah.
Knicks not that far behind. Something that you can't say about the Heat. And when we come back tomorrow, we could coming back to a sweep and 1 team down from the playoffs, and that team being the reigning Eastern Conference champions. Unfortunate, but hey, what can you say? That being said, thank you guys for watching today's podcast. Make sure to tune into tomorrow's podcast. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, support the channel, give us feedback, all that good stuff.
And also follow our IG and our TikTok down in the description below and tune in.
Yes. And of course, I'm Evan.
I'm Ja.
This is Mind the Basketball Podcast.
Playoff edition.